Hello guys and welcome back. It's time for a new project. This time something very modern, the new Leopard 2A8 from Amusing Hobby. I did an unboxing of this kit on my channel if you are interested, so we can go straight to building this kit. Like with most sets, we begin with the lower hull. It is made from 3 separate pieces that you have to glue together. The fit is very good and I had no issues putting them together. I just wished they had added some supports in the middle to make sure you get all the angles correct. In addition, it would provide the kit with a bit more stability. These 2 towing hooks have to be attached to the lower glacis. When adding these parts here, you have to watch out that there are 3 different versions in the kit. The first one is different, as well as the second and third, compared to the rest. These are the axles for the return rollers. The return rollers have a small pin inside them to get them in the right position. However, I find their design not so great, because even with the pin, their placement feels kind of loose and you have to be careful that they still line up in the end. The suspension on this kit is movable, and for that you have to glue these rods into each swing arm. They have a little notch, so you get the position right each time. I have to remove this little pin on each of them, otherwise they won't fit into the hull. Then I have to slide them inside and attach them to the other side. This is the only part where you are supposed to add glue. And then they stay kind of movable. Some swing back better than others, but it would be good enough to move them around if you build a diorama. The wheels on this tank are nothing special. You just have to put the 2 halves together and you are done. Sadly, there are no polycaps included. Now let's take a look at the workable tracks. Each link consists of these 3 pieces. They do take some time to clean up, but I have seen worse tracks before, and their level of detail is definitely worth it. Once you are done cleaning them up, you can use the included jig to help you make the track. First, you have to insert the bottom piece into the jig. There are recesses for the track pads, so you get them in the right position. Then you have to put these connectors in between 2 links. They have an upper and lower side, but the jig only allows for run orientation. And now comes the tricky part: adding glue to the top piece. For me, the Revell cement with the thin tip worked best. I apply a very small amount along the middle part of each link, making sure to not get any glue on the outer edge. Then I carefully pressed the link onto the other half. I work in small sections of about 10 links each time to make sure everything works as it should be. After a few minutes, I can try and remove the segment from the jig. The tracks should now be flexible, but sometimes the glue gets in the wrong place, but you can fix that by carefully moving each link up and down like this, breaking the bond of the glue. What you're seeing here took about 3 days of work. It is a lot of time, but worth it in my opinion. This is the last trackpad for each side. I have to keep it separate for now and attach it later once the tracks are in place on the tank. And do not worry if you break a few parts. There is still almost an entire sprue left with extra parts. Next in line is the massive turret. The optics are made from clear parts, as to be expected from a brand new kit. They are inserted from the inside and glued with Tamiya extra thin cement. Sadly, the kit does not include any parts for the gun breech on the inside, not even a counterweight. All you get is this small piece that you have to put between the upper and lower turret halves. These are the extras included in the first release of this kit. A metal gun barrel and the bore evacuator and muzzle brake made from resin. The plastic part has this little notch that fits into the resin part. The fit is really good, and for now I don't even have to use super glue, but I will later once I know everything is in the right place. Now these plastic pieces are a bit more difficult, because you can't use the plastic cement on the resin parts, and I don't want to use super glue now until I'm very sure everything fits. In this part you have to drill 2 holes for another part, which I assume is an optic or aim device. Now that I know that all the parts are placed correct, I can fix the resin part with superglue. The turret has these 2 kinds of storage bins on the side. They are designed in a way to stay movable, but since there is no detail on the inside, there is no point in keeping them open unless you want to scratch build some interior. The Leopard has its smoke launchers attached to these panels now. At the current state, the A8 variant has about half as many smoke launchers as previously. The gun fits snugly into the turret. This part has to be added without getting glue on the joint. Then this flap covers the gap between the gun and turret during elevation. Some more details like hooks and antennas are added. Now comes the Leopard's iconic turret armor. Each side is made from 3 pieces, but the turret is asymmetrical, so don't be confused by the different sizes. And then they are just glued to the turret. Now it starts to look like a real Leopard tank. The commander's hatch and optics are nicely modeled with a 2-layered clear part. Here we have one of the most interesting additions to the A8 variant compared to its A7 predecessor: the Trophy Active Protection System. The Trophy APS is a defensive system that can protect against different anti-tank weapons, including ATGMs and rocket-propelled grenades. It is a fascinating and complex system that borders to being magic. If you have the time, it is definitely worth to take a closer look at how this thing works in real life. This is the projectile launcher that deploys the explosive formed penetrators that are used to destroy the incoming projectiles. And these shields protect the rest of the tank from the backblast of the trophy APS. This time I covered all the clear parts with a liquid mask before I attached any further parts that may block them. And I hope I can just peel it off once I'm done painting. The two storage baskets for each side are made from resin again. These parts are included in all editions. The fit wasn't that great because both parts were slightly bent. I think I would prefer photo-etched parts for these kind of things in the future. The trophy systems are now ready to be attached to the rear of the turret as well. The Leopard has two additional trophy sensors at the front to guarantee a full 360-degree protection. Left and right side are supposed to look different, so watch out for the part numbers. You attach them on the top of these little studs right on the frontal armor. And don't be confused, it has to be asymmetric as well, even if it looks weird. Here we have the gunner's optics. Again, more clear parts that I have masked with liquid mask beforehand. And the commander has an additional remote controlled camera that fits right behind his hatch. The weapons station on the A8 features an M2 Browning machine gun. The gun barrel is drilled out, which is always welcome. Like with the rest of this kit, the details here are really good. Compared to the usual small caliber machine guns in the German army, this one looks a lot more powerful. And with that, the turret is already finished. But we still have the upper hull to do. A few tools and the travel log for the main gun are placed on top of the engine compartment. There are a few more photo-etched parts to add here on the engine deck. When you have to bend the metal around parts like here, it is sometimes easier to use a smaller diameter first to get a good fit. The two large air intakes have a nice piece of photo etch too. Sadly, I kind of messed up the glue on one side. I may have to get some debonder soon to fix that. And like with all German produced tanks, you can't forget the Leitkreuz at the back. It is a light made for driving convoys at night without the enemy seeing the bright lights. Funnily, the Leopard has a rear view camera made from a piece of clear plastic. You could theoretically mask it off and keep it clear for later, but I'm not really gonna do that. The rear plate attaches perfectly to the previous built lower hull. No gaps had to be filled here. And after that, the upper and lower hulls can be combined. The fit wasn't perfect here, but nothing you can't fix. It is best to work in small sections, gluing them one after the other. If needed, you can apply some tape or use clamps if possible to hold it down. Some more periscopes for the driver's hatch, and that is finished too. Interestingly, the warning lights aren't made from clear parts, which is really weird because they would look a lot better if they were. And next are the headlights. And finally, it seems like the A8 will get the rectangular headlights as standard. They look so much better than the round ones Germany still uses in their A7 version, in my opinion. I won't attach the side skirts and add-on armor yet, as they would be in the way of painting. Last but not least, the gap in the hull has to be filled with an additional armor plate. And that's it for this build. Let's see how the model looks put together as far as possible. This has been one of the most detailed and newest kits I have built yet, and I really enjoyed it. The level of detail makes an impressive looking tank even better. I have something very special planned for the camo, but I won't spoil it yet. If you enjoyed this part, please leave a like and subscribe to not miss the next part. Any feedback or suggestions, let me know in the comments. Thank you all for watching, and see you next time.